ठीक है?
Okay, sir.
ठीक है, ऑल राइट। Chalo. So, guys, hello everyone. Welcome to CDC Mentors. I have Snap toppers with me. They are from SIIB, by the way. आप बहुत सारे बच्चे SIIB के लिए बहुत सारे मुझे क्वेरीज आए थे बच्चों के कि सर SIIB के बारे में थोड़ा बता दो। सो यार ये चारों लोग, ये तीन लोग यहाँ पे हैं, तन्वी है, मैत्रेक है एंड आर्या है। दिस आर ऑल ग्रेट पीपल। इन लोगों ने फाड़ा है, ये SIIB में अच्छा खासा कर रहे हैं। Whatever queries, whatever questions you have as far as Snap is concerned, इनको पूछना। They're kind enough to answer everything. And I will be not available in this session, but guys, you go ahead and conduct the session. Okay? Cool. Over to you guys.
Sure, sir.
Take care. Bye bye. Who's gonna present the PPT so I can make that person host?
Yes, I will be
Maitra.
presenting the PPT.
Maitrek or Tanvi?
Maitra
I
will
will
be
be
presenting.
Chalo, Maitrek, you go ahead, buddy.
Yes, sir.
You are
Sure,
the
sir.
host now. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Chal, man. Take care. Bye bye.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
No
Bye, sir.
problem.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, guys. Is my PPT visible?
Yeah, it's visible to me, Maitra.
Yeah, you're good. You're good, Maitrek. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
go ahead, Tanvi.
Yeah, so Arya will be sharing the further insights. Arya, over to you.
So first we'll be talking about the basic structure and strategy of the examination. I'll be focusing more on the strategies because maybe a structure is clear to everyone. So moving on to the next slide, Maitrak. We all know that SNAP is a time-based examination. There are 60 questions that needs to be answered in 60 minutes. The basic bifurcation is QA, and DI for 20 marks. The next part is for 15 marks, which is general English, reading comprehension, verbal reasoning, verbal ability. The next part is for 25 marks, which contain the majority of the part of the paper, which is analytical and logical reasoning. Now, what differentiates SNAP would be from other entrance examination would be the ability to have the time management and decision making. So choosing the right set of answer questions to be answered in that limited time frame becomes very important. So it's not just the test of your knowledge on the subject matter, but the strategy that you will be implementing in answering and attempting those questions. So the three important part to be taken care would be accuracy, which should be the first thing. If you attempt 50 questions and if you only get 30 of them right, that will deteriorate your total score to a huge extent. So answering 35 question to 40 question, but making sure whatever you're answering, even if you're attempting that 40 questions, whatever you're attempting, that should be accurate, right? So the first part would be accuracy. The second part would be knowing the time management. So how I went about it was that my strong suit was English. So that section I took 7 to 8 minutes to solve that section. The next part was the second part, which was my second best section. So that was the logic part that contains 25 marks. So it's important that you take your time in understanding what is your strong suit. So how do you do that? Now, what you can do is that after attempting mocks, you have a basic understanding and a basic knowledge that what are your strong suits. So when you give at least 5 to 10 mocks, you would understand that, say, English is your strong section or QA is your strong section. So after having that understanding that this is my strong section, you first attend that section, and then you move on to your second best section, and then you keep the time frame at the last, whatever time you feel like you require for your weakest section, you keep it at the last. So that is the strategy that I implemented for answering the question. So that time management also becomes very important. The first part is to understand the paper, time management, and also decision making on which question you would attend and which question you would leave. So even though it's a 60 marks paper, oftentimes you would be able to answer a couple of questions in 20 to 30 seconds, or say 20 to 30 seconds. And then there would be some question which you would require 1 minute or 2 minutes to ponder over and solve. So understanding at what point you should leave one question which you're not able to answer or not able to figure out, that also becomes very important. So the strategy to solve the paper is more important than the knowledge of the subject matter. you have the basic knowledge, you have attempted maybe say CAT, and you have been preparing for a while. So now at the end lag, what you need to do is to fix your strategy, what you would be doing on the DD. So whatever strategy you have been implementing, don't differ from that right now at this stage. Go ahead with that strategy. So in that way, you would be able to attempt 3 of the sections together. And the main advantage that you have with Snap is that there's no sectional foundation. So if you want to spend more time on a particular section, you can do that. You can switch between sections. So take advantage of that. You have your strategies that you have aligned and that you have been implementing for so long. Go ahead with the same on the D day. Relax. You have done a lot. You have strategized a lot. You have studied, practiced a lot. So now is the time to relax and go back to the strategies that you have been doing so far. It's especially for the people who would be doing their first attempt on 10. For the second and third attempt, you still have time. For the first attempt, stick to the strategy that you have already been doing. Now, coming to the marking scheme, I'll quickly run over that. Each correct answer will give you 1 marks. Each wrong answer will give you a negative marking of 0.25. There's no negative marking for the unattempted question, and there's no sectional time limit. Now, moving on to the next slide. So strategy for vocabulary and reading comprehension. Now, a couple of important topics for reading comprehension and vocabulary will be understanding the meanings, idioms, antonyms, synonyms. There are only a couple of questions from RC, so your reading speed is not very important in this section. However, how you're understanding the question, there could be times that a couple of questions might look tricky when you read it, but the answers could be simple. So when you're reading that question, rather than just reading and chucking it out because it looks difficult, read the entire question, look at the options, and then that would make it easier to implement the right answer, the right solution for that question. A couple of topics which you could refer would be simple tense, the tense in general. Tense would be important, active passive voice, direct indirect speech. So those are a couple of things you could revise in the last part of your preparation. And that is basically it for the vocabulary and reading comprehension section. It's pretty precise and it's pretty easy to understand. There's only 15 marks for it. So that is the strategy that you can implement for this one. Moving on to the next one. For logical reasoning, that is the major section which has 25 marks. So for logical reasoning, the important part would be to revise what you have already done. Solving the previous year paper would give you an idea of what kind of questions generally come, input, output questions. Then, other questions like coding, decoding, number series, calendar, clocks, all of those which have been a staple in the question paper for the last 5 years. Do practice those set of 5 to 10 important topics. Moving on to the next one. Yeah, just a second. Tanu, you can take over.
Okay. So talking about the quant section, I would say that we should make, like, at this point in time, you should actually have all the key theorems, equations, and shortcuts by heart by this time. If not, like for quants mainly, you should enhance the speed and precision through extensive sample tests and mock practice. So basically, I would say that, for if quants is your forte, make sure that all the basic formulas you have them by heart. And if it's not your forte, focus on LR and VA altogether, because Snap does not have a sectional cutoff. So for students who do not have who do not specialize in quants altogether, can do really well in the other sections, LR and VA. So these are some various. So let's move on to the common strategies, which Maitrak will be elaborating on.
Um, Thank you, Tanvi. The common strategy, there is a concept not a concept like a common strategy. Everyone has their own strategies, but the main concepts that we need to focus mainly on is your time management. Focus on your strength, as Arya and Tanvi mentioned earlier. You need to revise a lot, but remember, if you have a if you have a paper on 10th, no need to have a hectic schedule of revision on the previous day. Have yourself a bit relaxed and practice and practice and practice. This is a main main thing you need to focus about. So coming on to time management, basically my idea of time management was I used to solve all the questions which I knew which would be easier to solve. So I finished my VARC section in I guess 4 to 5 minutes, so I could capitalize some time on the uh, other two sections as well. My strength was basically the DLR section, so I focused on that. And as many of us know that quant it is very difficult to crack quant, so I just didn't much have focus on quants and started to focus more on the first two sections. Revision is must. You must have spend time on solving the samples, previous year question papers. Sectional mocks are one of the important things that one need to focus and solve as much as mocks as you can.
Yeah,
So
right. So, like Maitra mentioned, I feel time management is the key to success in Snap. So, like, as you get 60 questions and 60 minutes, so, like, once you know your strategies well, once you know which section you really, you're good at, you should focus on those sections first. Like, in the first 30 minutes, I would say, try to eliminate, like, get done with the questions that you can solve under 1 minute and leave the ones that you feel that, that will take some time for laters. So time management is really, it'll do wonders if you know how to manage your time really well for the SNAP exam. And yeah, once you practice mocks consistently, you'll understand, how it works out for you. Like for me, the VA section was pretty easy. So I started with the VA section and got done with that in like 5 to 7 minutes, and then moved on to the LR section. So like CAT, we are not really stuck into caselets. Like we do not really have to solve an entire caselet in order to move on. So the questions are pretty doable, and I would say if you practice enough mocks and learn from your mistakes. So about mocks, once you identify you do not really do well in you know one particular topic, try to practice that and master that, instead of repeating the same mistakes again. So the key to moving forward and enhancing your score in mocks would be to not repeat the mistakes that you would have done in your previous mocks. So that's what is from my end. Yeah.
So these are the dates for the SNAP exam. You have your first attempt on 10th of December, second attempt on 17th of December, and third attempt on 22nd of December. You can attempt all three. Try to attempt all three attempts. The best score out of the three examinations will be counted for your final score. So these is the phase wise SNAP strategy that must be focused upon. You should foundation concept revision, revise basic grammar and vocabulary, focus on kangaroo words, and try to enhance your vocabulary, and take sectional quizzes to assess your progress. Practice timely mocks and analyze the solution. Read daily newspaper and try to solve puzzles, which will help you more in the DILR sections. Try in the next try to practice numerous mocks, and on the final day, remember, you should not be overhyped, and be calm in the D-day of for the exam.
That's
That's it.
right. Also, guys, I would say like maximize your attempt. Like attempting, SNAP is like we get 3 chances to ace the SNAP exam. So do not get disheartened if the first attempt does not go really well. You still have 2 attempts left. So I would say take the maximum advantage with that. Yeah. Of that.
Also, one tip which I don't think often a lot of people talk about, but this is coming just from personal experience, is that there would be time when you're sitting in that examination hall and several thoughts would cross your head. You'll feel like maybe this is the last thing, maybe you can't do it, maybe there's less number of time, the timer is ticking. Don't panic in that moment, okay? even if you have 10 minutes left, a lot can change in 10 minutes. So if you're seeing that you're not able to attempt a lot of questions, just relax and go back to the things that you know that for sure you are good at. So rather than going and just keep on continuing with the same sums that you have attempted, relax, take a few breaths, and tell yourself that you can do it. I know it sounds a little childish, but it actually works, because in my last attempt I was very nervous, and the last attempt was the attempt by which I could score that percentile that I did. So I scored around 96.48, and that was on my last attempt. It was just 10 minutes left, and I attempted almost 12 questions in the last 10 minutes, and all of them had great accuracy. So even if you're at the last lag of your, when you're attempting that questions, don't feel discouraged. Fight till the end.
That's
So
right. I totally agree with that. Yeah. So now we will be taking up some questions from your end. So feel free to ask any question that comes to your mind.
Yes, we'll be happy to address your doubt. It can be anything related to snap exam or SIV. You need to know. You could shoot up your doubts in the comment section.
I think there are a couple of questions already in the chat box, so we can start taking questions. Matrick, would you like to go ahead?
Yes, Aryan Gupta has to say he's getting 27 to 28 marks in snap mocks by attempting 40 to 42 questions. What can I expect from the main exam? Yes, try to capitalize your score and try to solve maximum mocks, and try to capitalize your uh, uh, proper skill set skills and your strengths. You can always focus upon your strengths. And yes, 27 to 28 marks is good. Try to achieve more than 35 36. It could almost get you around to 90 93 93 percentile plus.
Okay, also there were some questions regarding mocks. So I think I had used this strategy of taking on multiple mocks at the start, but then I focused on solving one type of mock. So I'd taken C2C mocks itself, which really helped me in my preparations. So I solved around like 20 mocks before the exams, which really helped me. So solving mocks for me was like was really helpful.
There's a question from Dev Jyoti Das, cutoff for SIIB. So as you would know, there are 3 flagship programs for SIIB. For IB, which is the most famous one, for that the cutoff would be around 90. Relatively 90, for a safer side, you can keep 92. For AB and ENE, which are great programs, great niche programs, for those the cutoffs are relatively less.
Guys, feel free to ask questions regarding Snap or SIB altogether.
There's a question from Sai Pandey. How to increase score in QA? I think Matrick would be the perfect person to answer that question.
Yes. So to score good in QA, as I previously mentioned, focus on your strengths. Basically, my strength was time, speed, distance, or in basics. Basically, geometry, algebra questions. So I primarily focused. I tried to sort out the questions related to it, and solve those questions first. And it is not necessary to solve all the questions. Basically, so remember, you have negative minus 0.25 marks. So try avoiding mistakes, and pick the answers basically which you are you think you will be more accurate to. So yes, focus on your strengths. That is the basic idea behind scoring good in the snap exam.
So there's this question from Abhinav Kumar, who says that you attempt only VA and LR. So I feel like skipping out quants will not be a good idea for the D-Day. You should attempt at least 6 to 7 questions in quants. Like that's what I had done. So I was good in VA and LR, so I used to focus on those two sections. But we cannot really give up on quants altogether. So like at least the minimum amount of questions you should focus on getting done.
We have a question from Vineet Maheshwari. So he's asking MBA versus IB, what is the difference? Now, a lot of you might be actually confused with what IB is and how it is different from MBA. MBA and IB is almost the same as an normal MBA that you do, but you have an added edge of an international perspective. So the kind of subjects, the kind of exposure that you get in a normal MBA course, in IB course, you get some additional benefits like studying subjects as such as import, export, forex, having a global perspective onto how things work. So whether you choose your specialization as SCM, marketing, finance, HR, you get a international perspective on how things are functioning apart from India. So you get to learn the basic things, but you have an added edge of a global perspective with every specialization. So hope that clears the doubt.
Uh, someone has doubt, can you please explain more about MBA Energy and Environment? So basically, I'm from energy and environment background, and energy and environment program is a very niche program currently in the SIB. It was started in 2009, and it has a current scenario of energy and environment is currently very booming. The the problem of climate change, ESG domain, the requirement of the ESG professionals and environment professionals are increasing day by day. So you can have your upper hand by specializing in such niche courses. So I would urge everyone to look after that course. The detailing of the course would be is mentioned in our websites, and the cutoffs for energy and environment are pretty low for compared to the other two courses of SIB. So yes, energy and environment is a go-to thing. You can research about it in the various domains related to energy and environment.
So there's a question from Soumita Das. So yeah, MBA in international business, we have 4 specializations under it: marketing, supply chain management, finance, and HR. So with the exposure of international business, you can specialize in the mentioned. Also, there is a question from Shubham Goel. So, which section should you start the paper from? So, I feel verbal ability is a good section to start the question from because, those questions can be done under 30 seconds, in my opinion. So, that would be a good section to start with in Snap.
Adding on to the point that Tanvi mentioned, the strategy for each person, I think, is subjective. So a basic outline should be whatever you have done in your mock, you have an idea of which section to start first, right? So I'm sure you would have at least attempted 5 mocks. Analyze those mocks, see what was your strategies in those mocks were. So suppose in mock 1, 2, 3, you started with, say, quants, and quants is your best suit, then you must have seen what was your result in that particular mocks. So analyze the mocks that you have given, see which sections, after starting from which section, you do well. So strong, I would say, start with your strong suit. That would give you a morale boost also, that you are able to solve those questions. Start and dedicate a little less time to the section that you are good at. So if you're good at, say, English section, you can spend about 6 to 7 minutes there. And if you're good at, say, logical reasoning, then around 25 minutes you can spend there. So see what you are good at and start with that section. Then move on to the second base suit. And then keep a fair amount of time for the section that you're weak on. So that could be a good idea, I guess.
Yeah,
Shubhansh,
actually, though, very subjective. So I feel like you should, solve the mocks and analyze which section really works out well for you. So yeah,
so
Maitreya, you were
Shubhansh
saying.
has a doubt, which mock should I practice for Snap? Honestly, I had solved a number of mocks, and the mocks given by Ketan sir for Snap. For the Snap exams was really helpful for me. I almost solved 8 to 10 mocks before going for the preparation exams. So try solving the mocks given by Ketan sir. It is really helpful and at par mocks. So it would help you really boost your confidence as well, and the difficulty level is also at par to the final snap exams.
Somita Das has a question. Will MBA and IB have specialization like marketing or HR? So I would like to address that point again, that MBA in international business has four different specialization: marketing, HR, SCM, and finance. So that is, I think, at par with majority of the MBA colleges. So adding on to that, you would have additional subjects that would give you an additional perspective to whatever specialization that you choose.
Anvesh Tripathi has asked what is the average package of SIIB. So Anvesh, you could please visit our website. All the placements related and SIP report has been mentioned over the website. You can check over that and get good clarification for it.
We have a question: how to increase accuracy, especially for critical reasoning in LR section. So I would say SNAP is an exam of time and accuracy. If you are not familiar with any topic, or if you feel like spending time on a particular topic, say output would take 2 to 3 minutes, I would say skip on those topics and only go for the topics that you have you have solved those questions. So that is where practice comes on to play. You practice the 10 to 12 topics of a particular section, and then you would be familiar with the kind of question that would come on the D-Day. So that would, I think, help with accuracy, solving similar type of questions, and time management again becomes important along with accuracy. Hope that
Also,
answers.
just adding on to that, I feel if you're spending more than 4 or 5 minutes on one question in LR particularly, like I would say, do not get stuck on that question and move on to the other question, because there are a lot of questions that you can score. So there are some trick questions there in Snap which would consume a lot of time. So I would say skip those questions.
Shivansh has asked safe number of attempts in each section or in overall. So as per I know, overall last year I had attempt almost 50 to 52 questions and got around 34 to 35 marks. So it depends upon your accuracy and how much right answers do you give. So it depends totally upon your strength, how much you give, Shivansh. So Snehadeep has asked, can you please throw some light on placement of ENE? Yes, Snehadeep, we have various opportunities for placements and various prominent recruiters for energy and environment. We have many recruiters such as Bristlecone, Morningstar, Adani is visiting a campus for the SIPs as well as the final placements. So we have a overall 100% placement record over over the last years. And as I previously mentioned, that the demand for energy and environment has been increasing day by day, and the number of professionals in that field are not prepared yet for the current market scenario. So so in the current market trend also, there are a number of recruitments, and almost many of the students of our batch currently has been placed in various positions in the energy and environment.
Shubham, you have a question about what strategy should I use to increase my attempt. After reading your question, I would say that don't go with any new topic. You are spending relatively good amount of time in each section, but try to practice more the topics that you have learned. I think that would only help you maximize the attempt. And also with practice, you would minimize the time required. Go back to the formulas for quant. Try to solve VA in a 1 to 2 minute less time so that you can increase the number of attempt in other section. Similarly, whatever time dedication you have, stick to that strategy. And I would say for the upcoming attempt, you don't have time to solve a lot of mocks. So just revise what you've already done. After the first attempt, see what kind of question pattern comes, see how you're doing on the D-Day, and then strategize and give some more mocks to improve the accuracy. I think that is the best strategy for that. I think if any one of you, Tanvi and Maitrik, can add on to that, basically how your strategies were, because I guess there's a lot of questions regard to what the strategy is. There's also some question how to increase the number of attempt in overall section. So I think if you can share your strategy, that would be beneficial.
For talking about my strategy, what I used to do is I actually took inspiration from Ketan sir only. So I used to solve in the first 30 minutes. I used to ensure that 30 questions which are doable under 1 minute are done by me. So after 30 minutes, I was not under the pressure that, I'm missing out on a lot. So after the first 30 questions, in the remaining 30 minutes, I used to focus on questions which were doable, but which would take a little more time. So the 20 minutes after the first 30 minutes, I used to focus on that. And in the remaining 10 minutes, I used to go back to the questions which I thought could have done by me, but I would have skipped it. So then I used to focus on that. But mainly what really worked out for me was getting done with the easiest questions which I thought could be done under 30 minutes first out of the way. So that is what I used to follow, starting with VA and LR and leaving Quants for the end because that would take a lot of time for me. So Maitrak, you can show your strategy.
Yes, and surely the time management is a key in the SNAP exam. So I previously mentioned that you need to cope up with your speed as well as accuracy. So according to me, my strategy was to finish off the VARC section as soon as possible and capitalize on the second section, LR section. So I finished off my VRC in 4 to 5 minutes, and for the quant section, I honestly skipped the questions which wasn't able to do and attempted almost 48 to 49 questions. And I remember I had almost skipped all the 12 questions related to quant and tried to attempt all the questions for the in the LR section. So that was my strategy, which helped me is the exam.
I think there's a lot of questions coming in, but we have only 5 to 10 minutes to wind up the session. There's a lot of questions regarding what are the good attempts for SNAP. So for SIIV, even if you're attempting 30 to 35 questions, make sure whatever you're attempting had a good accuracy. Talking about my personal experience, I did only attempt around 38 to 39 questions, but apart from one question or two question, all of them were correct. So accuracy would help you go along a long path. So accuracy, maintaining the time, and decision making. These are the three keys that you need to focus on. Deciding which question to leave is also as important as understanding what to attempt, right? So you know what your strengths are right now, leverage on that, attempt the questions, make sure the accuracy is correct, and rather than going ahead with new topics at this point, revise what you have already done. So a good attempt would be around 35 to 40 questions for SIIB. For a 90% cutoff, you can attempt around 35 to 37 questions.
Hardik Raheja, can you tell recruiters of energy and environment? As I mentioned, there are various recruiters from the Big Four consultancy, like we have KPMG, PwC, EY, coming to our campus regularly. Adani, Bristlecone, Morningstar, all the different companies that visit our campus regularly for ENE recruitment. So yeah, we have almost a good record for our placements for ENE batch. Which companies for finance come from SIB campus? Arya, could you please take up this question? Like, what companies for IB batch to come for placements?
So for IB batch, we have a lot of top companies, like we have Asian Paints, we have Tata Motors, we have Tech Mahindra, we have Crystal, we have we have Snyder, and a couple of other companies also keep visiting the campus. This time also a lot of the top companies have visited the campus. For IB, I think there's a substantially top players in the market come for placement, and we also have roles that are not just domestic, we have international roles as well. We have roles across various cities, um, beyond India as well. So for IB, the placements are pretty good.
Maitak, there's a question for the criteria for getting into ENE program. Could you take that up?
Yes, for the criteria for getting into ENE program is basically you need to have a bachelor's degree from a renowned college, and a 50 percentage in overall your undergrads, as well as 10+2. And we all also have we have a mixed batch of architects and bachelor in science people, as well as we have various domain specific people from environment, energy, electrical background. So yes, the the diversity of our batch is pretty much diverse. So yes, we are I hope so I answered your question, Thomas.
Also, there's a question, is there MBA finance in SIB? So onto that, so under the international business, you can take 4 specializations, any one of the 4: marketing, finance, HR, and supply chain management. So yeah, there is MBA in finance and the others, along with international business.
There's also a question regarding what are the topics that one can refer for quants. So I would say what I did personally was focusing on number system, time, speed, and distance, time and work, averages. Those are the percentage also. So arithmetic, algebra are the majority. From there, you would get around 70 to 80% of the questions. So focusing on these topics would be beneficial.
So with that, I think most of the questions are out of the way, and we would be winding up our session now, unless and until. Yeah.
So there's a question. I really want to make into the college. What should I do? How is the environment in SIIB? Are people there nice? So people are definitely nice here. They are very supporting, encouraging. What you need to do for getting into the college is having a good attempt at the SNAP exam. After that, there would be a GDPI process. This year, we do not have a VAT process, so we do not have the writing ability test. Uh, so clearing that off, focusing right now, focus just on giving a good attempt. After you get a call letter, focus on preparation for the GDPI. For that, I think C2C is great platform. Even I took my preparation from here. So take a good coaching, or even if you're doing it on your own, try to give your best shot there. The campus environment here is very nice. We have a lot of different spectrums apart from just theoretical knowledge that we diverse into practical life projects, then going on to experiential learning with experience. So for every subject we have experiential learning, so we implement whatever we have learned in theory through some sort of project that is given to us by the professors. Apart from that, the cultural clubs and committees are great. There are a lot of clubs and committees that you can get into. Even if you're interested in remotely say anything, I think there would be some sort of opportunity for you to shine here with that passion. The people here are really good. They're very friendly. Even if you go ahead and try to speak to a professor, even if you want to talk to the director, you want to talk to the seniors, the juniors, everyone is very approachable. So it's very encouraging platform when you get to learn with your seniors, from your peers, from your professors. So I would say if you're trying to focus on the college, getting into the college, go ahead with a good snap score, and I am sure you would make it. So that is it.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you for guys for being good audience. If you feel any doubt, you can reach out us on our Instagram page SIB Admissions, where we share various strategies to ace the exam, as well as we'll be surely making some content related to how to solve the GEPI as well as the specializations. So make sure you follow the SIB Admissions page on Instagram, and you could reach any of us on LinkedIn. We'll be very happy to address you. And also we would be thanking Ketan sir for giving us this opportunity to showcase SIB on this platform, and really thankful for the session.
Yeah, thank you so
And
much everyone for being a delightful and patient audience. All the very best for your snap exams. I'm sure you guys will ace. Yeah.
Thank you
So
so much,
thank you so
guys.
much.
Right now, just keep calm. You've studied a lot. So take a break, relax. Don't stress out too much. Going into the D-Day with the right mindset helps a lot. So take a rest. Do not panic before the examination. Some of you might be attempting for the first time. So it's okay. It's all right. Just focus on what you have learned and have faith in yourself. Have faith and confidence that no matter what comes on the D-Day, be the paper, if the paper is easy, medium, hard, whatever it is, you can do it. And don't decide the paper just basis on the first couple of questions. Even if you're finding it difficult, it's okay. Scan through the entire paper, you will find the right set of questions for you. So that is the tip that I would share. Just, I hope you get into your dream colleges. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much everyone. All the best. With that, we'll be ending our session. Thank you.